The novel coronavirus COVID-19 has proven how connected we are. A virus which started in Asia has spread across the globe, impacting countries on each continent of the earth. Globalization has made each other just a plane away. Now, with social distancing, the world is being forced to connect through the net. Whether you have joined us online or via the TV, we are glad that you have connected with us today. We will get through this period of uncertainty with the right facts and by uniting. Today we share the myths, tips and information you should know to fight COVID-19. So stay with us. I'm Adrian Atkinson and this is Jamaica Magazine.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
In the fight against the novel coronavirus, it is crucial that the government creates a fiscal space that allows for the distribution of resources to weather this crisis. Just this week, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke informed the nation that more funds have been allocated to contain the spread of the virus. Watch now as he speaks.
The unprecedented spread of COVID-19 has created a global health crisis. The Jamaican government, led by the Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, has taken decisive action to protect the Jamaican people. In economic terms, the COVID crisis will have adverse economic implications for the world and for Jamaica. However, the good news is that the government of Jamaica is providing a $25 billion stimulus package, the largest fiscal stimulus in Jamaica's history, that could not come at a better time. Pumping $25 billion into the economy at a time of uncertainty like this helps to support economic activity right here in Jamaica. This is always desirable when the global environment weakens. The reduction in the general consumption tax by 1.5% from 16.5% to 15% puts $14 billion back in the hands of the Jamaican people, and this supports consumption. The $1 billion MSME tax credit provides critical cash flow support to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, and the dramatic reduction in regulatory fees for coconut, coffee, cocoa, and spice farmers incentivizes greater production. In this time, it is important that Jamaicans support our local economy by buying Jamaican. This will enhance the effect of these measures even further by supporting local production and local economic activity. This is a time that Jamaicans are coming together to help each other, a time of shared input and shared sacrifice for the benefit of all Jamaicans. The banking sector has volunteered to forego the reduction of the asset tax that I announced earlier for 1 year, which adds $3 billion to the $7 billion COVID contingency I announced in my budget presentation, bringing our total COVID fiscal contingency to $10 billion. The government is implementing and considering further fiscal action to cushion the economic impact of COVID-19. These include the following. Number one, we have waived the special consumption tax on approximately 100,000 liters of alcohol for use in the making of or the substitution for sanitizers, and this will be donated to the National Health Fund and the Ministry of Health, among other entities. This measure will ensure that sanitizers remain available in Jamaica. Number two, we will also waive the customs duty on the importation of masks, gloves, hand sanitizers, and liquid hand soap for a 90-day period. Number three, under normal circumstances, customs requires business process outsourcing firms, BPO firms, to keep the equipment used in their operations physically at their place of business. We will waive this requirement for a specific period to facilitate working from home and for business continuity. Number four, we are in discussions with commercial banks for them to provide temporary cash flow support to businesses and consumers in affected sectors through the deferral of principal payments, through new lines of credit, and through other measures. Number five, we will introduce the COVID allocation of resources for employees, the CARE program, which has the following 4 elements. The first is a business employee support and transfer of cash, the Best Cash program, which will provide temporary cash transfers to businesses in targeted sectors based on the number of workers they keep employed. Part 2 is the Supporting Employees with Transfer of Cash, the Set Cash program, which will provide temporary cash transfers to individuals where it can be verified that they lost their employment since the 10th of March, which is the date of the first COVID case in Jamaica, and that they lost their employment due to the effects of the COVID virus, and this will be available for a specific period. Part 3, there will be a special soft loan fund to assist individuals and businesses that have been hit hard. Part 4, there will be support for the poor and vulnerable with special COVID-related grants. We are finalizing details on the implementation and the accountability mechanisms for these programs, which we will announce shortly. These measures will be implemented transparently with broad stakeholder involvement. My fellow Jamaicans, an adverse economic impact from COVID-19 is unavoidable. However, the government is implementing and will implement a range of economic policy tools to help cushion against the effects. Working together, supporting each other, Jamaica will overcome this. These historic fiscal stimulus measures will give us the best opportunity for our eventual economic recovery. Working together, we will overcome this.
properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
Globally, we have heard that thousands of COVID-19 patients have recovered from the virus. Locally, a few of the patients are already asymptomatic. Next, we hear from the head of the microbiology department at the University Hospital of the West Indies, Dr. Alison Nicholson, as she provides an update on the well-being of a few of the patients.
Scientists and doctors globally are learning lessons from the negatives and taking comfort in this positive. Far more persons have recovered from the novel coronavirus than those who have died. That leads to one hypothesis: the coronavirus disease 2019 is not a death sentence. Globally, we have heard that thousands of COVID-19 patients have recovered from the virus and a smaller number have died. Unfortunately, on Wednesday, March 18, Jamaica recorded its first COVID-19 related death. The good news, though, is that a few of the patients confirmed with the virus are showing signs of improvement. The United States Embassy in Kingston has reported that patient 2, an employee of the organization, is recovering well. Positive signs for the country, which has recorded double figures of confirmed cases.
For the 14 persons that are under treatment, now we have 13 persons that are stable and are doing well. 3 are totally asymptomatic now, and we will start their discharge testing shortly.
They're actually doing quite well. As a matter of fact, the early patients looked quite well. They're eating, they're smiling. Of course, there's a tension of this new thing, but they're not incapacitated, right? We have some new cases now. I can't comment on those just yet, but certainly the earlier cases that we had who are still with us, they look like you and me. Most persons will recover. Probably about over 80% of persons will probably have a relatively mild illness. But there are persons that, for whatever reason, who will get a more serious infection. So persons over 60 tend to have a worse outcome, and persons with what we call comorbid factors, so persons who are hypertensive or diabetic or even asthmatic, tend to have a worse outcome. But that doesn't mean that everybody who has that will die.
It cannot be overstated.
COVID-19 is the name that they have finally decided on for the name of the disease. So that's coronavirus disease 19 for 2019. And the name of the virus that is causing that is now named SARS-CoV-2. So it's that new that persons had to deliberate for a while to say, what are we going to call this new virus? And what are we going to call this new disease?
Is it airborne?
In recent times, there are persons who are querying the possibility of airborne, but that would not be the primary method of transmission. It's just that we should now begin to think that it could be airborne.
Just to recap, remember, contracted COVID-19 is not a death sentence. Just call the Ministry of Health and Wellness if you see signs or have symptoms related to the virus. Do not proceed to your private doctor or a health facility.
Tip number 1. Keep your regular medication and other supplies well stocked. Ensure there is access to several weeks of medications and supplies in case there is a need for you to stay home. Monitor food and other medical supplies needed and create a plan in the event that such resources become depleted. Tip number 2. Stay sanitized. Tip number 3. Respond to multi-generational living situations. Many older adults live in homes where other members, such as children, may have frequent colds. Therefore, do not share personal items like food, water bottles, and utensils. If possible, choose a room in your home that can be used to separate sick household members from those who are healthy. Tip number 4. Develop intentional caregiver plans. Older adults may be caregivers or may receive care themselves. Caregivers and care recipients should discuss their preparation plans, including how to stay in touch via phone or email. Determine who can provide you with care if your caregiver gets sick. And tip number 5, keep abreast of essential up-to-date information. That means you should find and regularly check a trusted information source.
There is so much fake news circulating regarding coronavirus. Some are just laughable. What are some of the myths you've heard? Please do share with us. Take a look at this next feature as we clarify the mistruths.
There have been many myths surrounding the coronavirus disease, the same one now officially known as COVID-19. I've heard that Jamaica's temperature is too hot, so COVID-19 won't survive here, or that you need to eat garlic to help prevent you from being infected. I know you've also heard some stuff and may even believe half or more of what you've heard. So let's take some time and debunk the myths of coronavirus. People have said that the novel coronavirus cannot be transmitted in the heat. That is a lie. The virus can be transmitted in all areas, including those with hot and humid weather like Jamaica. Another myth is that it can be transmitted through a mosquito bite. To date, there has been no information or evidence to suggest that the new coronavirus could be transmitted by mosquitoes. This one has been very popular. Only old people can contract the coronavirus. Do not be fooled. People of all ages can be infected by the new coronavirus. However, older people, particularly those with pre-existing medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, and heart disease, appear to be more vulnerable to becoming severely ill with the virus. This is another popular one. Eat more garlic, you won't catch the virus. Garlic is a healthy food that may have some antimicrobial properties. However, there is no evidence from the current outbreak that eating garlic has protected people from the new coronavirus. These are just some of the myths that surround the coronavirus. Make sure you take time out to know your facts and do what needs to be done as we all try to contain the spread of this disease.
I wish to emphasize that the success of our efforts is contingent on the support of all Jamaicans, including the deliberate efforts to access and share accurate information on the virus, thus helping to minimize the fears and anxiety that has been associated with the spread of the COVID-19. At the same time, we must, in keeping with good hygiene, maintain a distance of at least 2 meters from persons who are coughing or sneezing, frequently perform hand hygiene by washing hands thoroughly with soap and water or using a hand sanitizer if hands are not visibly soiled, cover our mouths and noses when coughing or sneezing with a tissue and then discarding it, and avoid touching our faces and each other unnecessarily.
You heard the health minister. Let's play our part while building those immune systems as we tackle this virus together.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, wishes to advise the public that the Mandela Park in St. Andrew is closed. This is in adherence with government's restrictions on gatherings in public spaces. The halfway tree-based park will be closed until further notice. The NSWMA will continue to closely monitor the announcements of the Ministry of Health and Wellness to make decisions in the best interest of the citizens of Jamaica.
I want to make it abundantly clear that the quarantine that has been put in place is the law. Breaking the law can have severe consequences, as was articulated by the Attorney General. The reason why we put quarantining into place is to protect you and to protect the entire society. And therefore, as we move through this epidemic, we have to utilize different tools. Yes, we can use a big stick of the law, but what we want more importantly is moral suasion. And we want people to feel that their compliance is for their own good. And therefore, it's self-compliance and self-regulation that we are trying to encourage, a behavior change, because we are going through the crisis together. No system is perfect, and you will never have 100% compliance when it comes on to human behavior, no matter how strict the rules are. But we are encouraging persons to understand, and we can see from the evidence, as pointed out in this chart, the effectiveness of quarantining. If we had not put those restrictions in place, what could have occurred if those positive cases that we have now identified from our first case was able to move throughout the community and the wider Jamaica? Just think of the impact of that and realize that because we acted early and because we acted swiftly, we were able to contain any further spread.
Cancer, stress, high blood pressure. Guard yourself against these potentially deadly conditions by eating healthy. Give your body long life with foods such as low-fat milk, dried and fresh peas and beans, unsalted nuts and seeds, fresh vegetables, fruits and coconut water, and eliminate processed seasonings such as seasoning salt, soy sauces, and ketchup. When it comes to meats, remember to remove the skin to reduce the intake of fats and oils. Meats should also be baked, steamed, grilled, or roasted. Fish is also a preferred protein option. To eat healthy, fill your body with a variety of foods from all the food groups. And remember, eat at a slow pace and in small bites to help aid digestion. This helps to maintain a healthy, balanced, and nutritious diet, strengthening your body to ward off illness and prolong life.
If you're like most kids, you've probably heard at least one parent say, "Don't forget to take your vitamins. Eat your fruits and salads. They're packed with vitamins." And you heed the advice. But do you know why? Do you know what exactly vitamins are?
Vitamins are substances that are found in foods we eat. Our body needs them to work properly. Each vitamin has a special role to play. For example, vitamin D in milk helps us develop strong bones and teeth. Vitamin A in carrots helps us to see at night. Vitamin C in oranges helps our bodies to heal from a cut. And B vitamins in leafy green vegetables help our bodies make protein and energy. There are two categories of vitamins, fat-soluble and water-soluble. Fat-soluble vitamins are the ones called A, D, E, and K.
When we eat foods that contain fat-soluble vitamins, the essential nutrients are stored in the fatty tissues of our bodies and our livers until our bodies need them.
The water-soluble vitamins are C and B complex. These cannot be stored in our bodies and will dissolve in water before our bodies can absorb them. Any vitamin C or B that our bodies do not use pass through our systems, mostly when we urinate. So they need to be replaced regularly to ensure a fresh supply every day.
But let's break it down and take a look at one of these vitamins, C.
Vitamin C is often referred to as the cold-fighting vitamin. It is also known as a wonder worker because it plays an important role in building and maintaining our tissues. Doctors say it can enhance the function of the immune system and plays a role in the formation of important enzymes in the body. Vitamin C is important because it protects the body from skin diseases, respiratory infections, and cardiovascular problems.
According to nutritionists, human beings cannot produce their own supply of vitamin C, so we have to obtain it through our diet.
Vitamin C is found in citrus and other fruits such as oranges, limes, lemons, tangerines, grapefruit, papaya, strawberries, melons, and cantaloupes. It can also be found in vegetables like tomatoes, broccoli, green and red bell peppers, potatoes, peas, raw lettuce, and cabbage.
Vitamin C can be lost easily during cooking, particularly frying, so it's recommended that people steam their vegetables to minimize loss.
Vitamin C is also good for preserving the body from aches, pains, and heart disease. If we do not have enough vitamin C in our systems, it could lead to health complications. Diseases or ailments may include gum bleeding, skin discoloration, lack of energy, tooth decay, poor wound healing, easy bruising, loss of appetite, and pain in the joints. According to medical experts, there are certain groups of persons who can easily use up ascorbic acid, that is, vitamin C found in citrus and green vegetables, more rapidly than others. These are alcohol consumers, smokers, diabetics, individuals under stressful conditions or fever, and the elderly.
It is important to remember that vitamin C is also a highly effective antioxidant.
For additional information on vitamin C, consult your doctor or nutritionist. You can also get valuable tips from any government health institution close to you. So be health-wise.
We've come to the end of the show. Do catch us again tomorrow right here on this station. Another half hour of informative features awaits you. Until then, please send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jn. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. There you'll find credible information on the government's response to containing the spread of the novel coronavirus on the island, and much more. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.